Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Today I thought we'll check out these puzzles I found online. This one's a math problem. We'll try that. It's interesting. We'll talk about it. Also, like these questions that are puzzle-like, kind of like a mind bender. We'll try it on ChatGPT and on vanilla GPT-3, and with some decent prompting, I came up with a few ways of trying to get some kind of what you might call self-reflection, some kind of thought process going. But we'll see. Let's just begin. So the first question is this math problem. Let's just ask it to ChatGPT. The thing about this is that in arithmetic, some operators take priority. For example, this might seem like you just multiply 4 by 6, which is true, and then take 12 away from it. However, that's not true because the division takes precedence. So you would multiply 4 by 6, which would be 24, and then you would divide 12 by 45, which would be a very low number, and then take away from 24, which essentially gives a result of something like 23.7 or something like that. Anyway, let's see what ChatGPT does with it. At the same time, we can ask GP text DaVinci 003 with maximum temperature. It says negative 3.1. That's not correct. Let's try with 0 temperature and negative 2.4. That's not correct either. Here, actually, ChatGPT is getting it right. It still hasn't. It's been busy today, so there's some delay. But yeah, let's try this again. But it was going to give 23 something. Yeah, that's true. See, it's trying to take away whatever it thinks is 12 divided by 45 from 24. So this is correct, actually. And as we see, text DaVinci fails at this. Let's try with half temperature. It just doesn't get it. So here I came up with some kind of a prompt. It says, I'm a self-reflecting question answering system. I will critically self-reflect before giving the final answer. During self-reflection, I will ask myself questions to make sure I'm analyzing the problem correctly. Now I have some prompts to add to this, such as these. But let's just begin with, let's see what it does. Maximum temperature. So it's asking a question. Am I understanding the problem correctly? Equal negative 2. Yes. Equals negative 2. No, it does not, actually. Let's try again. Yeah, it's given. Let's try with 0 temperature. Is this a multiplication? Is this the order of operation? What is the result of the equation? The result of the equation is negative 0.4. So it just does not get it right. Let's just try with 0.5 temperature for good measure. Am I solving this problem correctly? Is there a simple way? The answer is negative 2. That's not correct. The answer is 23.73, something like that. So let's bring in some of this stuff. So let's add this to it. Things I should consider logically, including edge cases, before answering. Oh, this one. So after we ask the question, we ask it to consider logically, including edge cases. Let's see what it does with that. We'll keep the temperature at 0.5. Is the order of operations correct? Is the equation mathematically correct? Are there any negative numbers? Okay, after considering all the factors, the answer is, so it's given the wrong answer, but we have also intuitively considering option. Things I should consider intuitively, including edge cases, before answering. Let's see what that does. Is the result reasonable? Should the answer be further simplified? Is there a better way? Okay. Answer the equation is negative 0.2. That's incorrect. Then we have a step-by-step thought process working towards an answer. And when we run this, so it does the multiplication and then it tries to take away the 12. So it's making a mistake. Yeah, so this is the second part is the mistaken part. So then we have this fine last-ditch attempt to see if it can catch its mistake. Self-critical analysis of the thought process. I've gotten this to work in a previous attempt. No, it thinks it has considered everything correctly. Let's see what the answer is. Yeah, so it is mistaken. That is not correct. Let's do this. Let's give it another try. Answer is -4. You know what? Let's remove this real quick. I think I added this later on for another example. Okay, let's see. Is the order of operations being followed correctly? Now you should keep this in mind. This is the issue right here. This is interesting. Yeah, it's giving the wrong answer. That's fine. It asks some good questions. Let's ask the second. Intuitive. Still giving the wrong answer, but now we're going to do the step by step. Oh, okay. See, step by step. It actually, see, this time it got it right. 4 times 6, 24, and then it divides this, which is 0.26, and it gives 23.74. Okay, good. So clearly this works. I mean, you can, if you just ask this question straight away as many times as you want, it just doesn't give you the right answer. You can try it. So you have to kind of prompt it to think one way or another. I mean, it's not thinking, obviously, but let's move on to another. So these are some fun, interesting puzzles. If 7 adults can eat 7 cupcakes in 7 minutes, how long will it take 30 adults to eat 30 cupcakes? The answer is 7 here, because 1 adult can eat 1 cupcake in 7 minutes. 30 adults eat 30 cupcake. Each adult eating the cupcake in 7 minutes. So the answer doesn't change. So let's ask ChatGPT, and then let's ask Text DaVinci. So it says 30 minutes. Now this is wrong. Let's try with 0. Let's try with maximum temperature. And each of one of the answers is 30 minutes. And ChatGPT gives the wrong answer as well. Yeah. So let's see what we can do with some self-reflection. Let me grab the question again. Here we go. Yeah. So over here. Question is this. Let's just, yeah, it's approximately 21 minutes to eat 30 cupcakes. I don't know where 21 minutes come from. Anyway, let's start with our first consideration list. Are the cupcakes the same size? See, are the adults eating the same rate? So this is a good question that it's asking. Is there a limit to how quickly? All right. Let's see what the answer would be after this. Cannot be determined. Okay, it just doesn't know yet. It doesn't want to give a good answer. Let's do the intuitive considerations. Submit. Equally hungry. Well, some of this stuff, it's good that it's asking these silly questions too, because some of these puzzles require you to ask some silly questions, actually. There a limit to how much adults can eat? All right. Let's see what the answer would be at this point. In the same rate, there's no limit to how quickly, there's no limit to how much. Okay, well, it would take 30 adults approximately 7 minutes. So it's actually given the correct answer right away. So we don't even have to continue. So but this helps. It solved the problem. Otherwise, again, you can try with Text DaVinci 003 without decent prompting, and it says 3 minutes, 30 minutes. I mean, you just don't get the right answer. So we don't have to maybe continue. Well, let's do this step-by-step process too before it answers. Let's see what it thinks. Gather all the necessary information, analyze the data, calculate the average time. Would approximately take 210 minutes for 30. Oh my God, that's not true. All right, that's right. The critical analysis of the thought process. Oh. So it is failing. I did not anticipate this. It does think it's taken into consideration everything. Multiply the average time by number of adults and cupcakes. It's making a mistake. This whole thing is so that to intuitively here. Let's give it another go to a step-by-step process. Now that's a lot of considerations. Okay, let's just cut it right there and then let it answer. No. That's a bit disappointing, but it was answering correctly right after this. Let's see if it'll answer it correctly this time too. Approximately, no, now it's answering. Let's try with 0 temperature. Let's do the step-by-step process with 0 temperature. All right, 21 minutes for 30 adults to eat 30 cupcakes. That's not correct. Well, unfortunately, that didn't work. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, you have 2 coins that equal 30 cents, and one of them is not a quarter. Which coins do you have? So it's a trick question. One of them is a quarter, because the other one is a nickel. So sorry, a dime. Sorry, a nickel. So one of them is not a quarter. So one of them can be a quarter. Only one of them is not a quarter, I guess, if I'm explaining this correctly, accurately. So let's ask ChatGPT real quick. And let's ask Vanilla Text Da Vinci. A dime and a nickel. That's incorrect. Let's try with 0 temperature. Sorry, let's try that. Dime and a nickel. It's incorrect. At maximum temperature, dime and a nickel. That is incorrect. 2 coins. So ChatGPT says the 2 coins that equal 30 cents. One of them is not a quarter or a nickel and a quarter. Yeah. So ChatGPT gets it right. But the Vanilla Text Da Vinci 003 doesn't. Let's try our prompting to see if it'll help. Let me grab the question again. Let's just try with the initial prompting. I'm a self-reflecting question answering system. I will critically self-reflect before giving the final answer. Let's see what it does with 0 temperature. It says dime and a nickel. Let's try with maximum temperature. 2 coins that are worth 25 cents and 5 cents respectively. It actually answers it correctly. All right. How about in half? It's a dime and a nickel. So making a mistake here. Let's get it to consider logically. All right. So it's asking itself some questions. You have 2 coins that equal, so it answers after this. Right. And one of them is not a quarter. The coins you have are a quarter and a nickel. All right. So we didn't have to go through the rest of it. So we have this 4 steps to get it to kind of not think, but I guess ask some different questions and list some options to answer questions correctly, which are difficult even for humans to answer. And in this case, it got it right. The question was, If you have two coins that equal 30 cents, one of them is not a quarter. Which coins do you have? You still have a quarter and a nickel because only one of them is a quarter. So one of them is not a quarter because it's a nickel. Let's move on to the next question. I don't know if this is a good question, but well, I'll let you be the judge of it. If there are 8 oranges in a bag and you take away 2, how many do you have? So a lot of people, I guess, answer this saying 6, but there are only 6 left in the bag. Since you take away 2, then you have actually 2, right? Because you took away the 2. Now, how many do you have? So the answer is supposedly 2. Let's ask this to ChatGPT, and at the same time, at maximum temperature to text DaVinci. It says 6 oranges, so this is wrong answer. Oh. Let's try with half. That is wrong. 0 temperature. Still says 6 oranges. And I believe how many times we try is going to say 6 oranges. Let's instead try with our prompting. Paste it here. Prompt is I'm self-reflecting question answering system. I will critically self-reflect before giving the final answer. Let's see. We're still keeping it at half temperature. Let's see what happens. It says you have 6 oranges. That is wrong. Oh. 6 oranges at 0 temperature and 6 oranges after max temperature. Let's keep it at half and let's keep it the next prompt. So we're asking it to consider some logical thing, like consider logically, make a list, I guess, of things that you should consider. Let's see. Is the bag sealed? Are the oranges whole? It's not really asking the right questions and answering it the wrong way. All right, let's get the next strategy. Things I should consider intuitively, including edge cases. Let's see. Are the oranges organic or conventionally grown? That has nothing to do with it. Same tree or different trees. You have 6 oranges. That's mistaken. Step-by-step thought process, working towards an answer. Oh, hey, Mark. Yeah, I think so too. Well, I don't know if you're still here, Mark, but I just saw your message in this chat. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, I mean, some of these are kind of weird, but it is what it is, I guess. We're trying it out. So it says 6. Let's go to the step-by-step process. Yeah, it is a bad quotation. You're right. And I mean, I couldn't get it to answer right, this one anyway. Taken away 2. Subtract the number of oranges taken away. But, I mean, I guess it's trying to think about it. You have 6 oranges. That is incorrect, according to where I found this puzzle. So, final last-ditch effort. Self-critical analysis of the thought process. Did I consider all the edge cases? Yes, I double-checked my... Okay. Thinks it double-checked everything. And the final answer is... Pretty sure it's going to say 6 oranges. Wow. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I found it interesting. It actually solved. I don't know if you were here before, but like it was able to solve this because ChatGPT solves this. It knows about the priority of operations, but the vanilla text DaVinci can't. But with the right prompting, you can get it to solve. Let's move on to next. This is interesting, I guess. It's weird, but you can catch me, but I can't be thrown. What am I? The answer supposedly is a cold. Let's ask ChatGPT. A cold. Look at the answers. A cold. Good. Text DaVinci at 0 temperature. It says a shadow. At half temperature, it says a shadow. At full temperature, it says a shadow. That's what it says. Now, let's ask the question. Get an answer right away. A cold. Okay, it got it right. But I just want to mention, look, I mean, it was at temperature 1. Let's bring it to half. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times we try, it's not going to say cold. I've done this before, and like it's 0 temperature. It just thinks it's a shadow. ChatGPT thinks it's a cold. The actual answer at the place I found this question is a cold. But let me just say I'm a self-reflecting question answering system. I will critically self-reflect before getting the final answer. It answers cold. That's good. We didn't have to use the rest of the self-reflecting prompting tools. Then let's move on to the next question. It says, this is kind of interesting, I guess. If Mrs. Smith's rooster lays an egg in Mr. Brown's yard, who owns the egg? The answer is roosters don't lay eggs. So ChatGPT thinks Mrs. Smith owns the egg. Roosters do not have the ability to lay eggs, only hens do. Okay, so let's regenerate it. It knows that roosters can't lay eggs. It's not possible for a rooster to lay an egg. Only hens have the ability. So good. Therefore, there is no egg to be owned in this scenario. So ChatGPT is good with this one. Let's try at 0 temperature, text DaVinci 003. It says Mr. Brown owns the egg. Let's try again. Mr. Brown owns the egg. At half temperature, Mr. Brown still owning it. At max temperature, it's unclear who owns the egg. Mrs. Smith owns the rooster, but the egg is technically on Mr. Brown's property. Therefore, it's likely that both parties would need to work together to reach an agreement as to who has the. I mean, it's a pretty thoughtful answer. What if you tell it the mistake? Oh, well, we could do that. Let's see. You mean the mistake of meaning the rooster? Well, I mean, it doesn't really learn or understand, but I guess it keeps track of the context, what comes before, right? So the idea that, I guess, by prompting it to self-reflect and list things that it should consider logically and intuitively, my hope was that it'll say something like, you say, maybe it'll say something like, do roosters lay egg, right? So maybe that's a consideration. And then once it says that to itself, then actually it might answer it correctly. If we were to say it, I think it will answer it correctly. Let's say, like right here, keep in mind that roosters can't lay eggs. Answer. No. Oh, wow. I made a typo, but... Oh, okay, wait. As roosters cannot lay eggs, no one would own the eggs. This says Mrs. Smith would own the egg. This is at maximum temperature. Let's try with 0. So most of the time, it still wants somebody to own the egg. Okay, let's ask here. Just with the original question. Let's see, half temperature. It says Mrs. Smith would own the egg. Let's try again, even with temperature 0. Still thinks it belongs to someone, the non-existent egg. The egg would be jointly owned. This is interesting. Okay, let's see if we can get it to figure it out. So let's first get it to think things I should consider logically, including edge cases. I also want to mention, like I said I here, because I wasn't sure if, I could have said you are a self-reflecting question answering system. But I wasn't sure if I should say I or you, so I just did I. It seems to work fine. Anyway. Oh, we have max temperature. It's going into some legal ramifications. Well, let's see if it'll answer it correctly. Remind you that we have at maximum temperature. It's not possible to definitely answer. All right, let's do this real quick. Get it to say some intuitive considerations. I added this later, intuitive consideration, because I don't know, I thought maybe it could figure out that the question is just a trick question or something. Well, I'm not going to complicate it, depending. So it does this. It just makes it very complicated. And it never answered this correctly. Let's bring the temperature to 0. Let's do the step-by-step thought process, and then we'll move on to the next question. Oh, didn't put it in. Laws and regulations of the area. Relationship between I mean, it's really analyzing the situation. I mean, if this was for something else, it's given a decent kind of analysis. So it says final steps to consider the emotional and moral implications of the situation, even if the law technically states that. Anyway, so it's not going to answer. So it fails at that, and that's why I actually put these exclamation marks. These are the ones that it failed at. So this next one is Ted is the father of Sam, but Sam is not the son of Ted. How is that possible? Because Sam is the daughter of Ted. That's how it's possible. Let's ask it to ChatGPT. And to text DaVinci at 0 temperature. It's possible if Ted's stepfather adopted half temperature. Again, the stepfather argument. Adopted legal guardian. Yeah, it just doesn't answer it. Let's see. Can it answer it just here? Again, the stepfather stuff. What did ChatGPT say? Again, the adopted father. Okay. Let's get it to consider some logical facts. It just needs to say if Sam, if you ask Sam's gender, I guess it would figure out, but intuitively, this is not the right answer. It's possible that Sam's stepfather still. Let's move on to step-by-step thought process. Non-binary. That's true. That's also true. Any kind of biological father. Anyway, so it doesn't, and this last-ish attempt at critical. And I noticed this. I was hoping that at the end maybe it'll try to catch its mistake, and it did it one time, but most of the time it says I have considered all possibilities. I have. Sometimes it asks you the question, did I consider all possibilities? And it says answers yes. So I mean, it cannot answer this right. This was the case when I tried earlier too. So the next question is, a man once said he went 35 days without sleep. How is that possible? The answer is that he was sleeping at night. This is a trickery, obviously. It's a word trick. Day is 24 hours, but it's also only daytime. But I mean, humans can think about it and agree that okay, we could think of it like this. So yeah, it's not possible for humans. It doesn't think that it's trickery. And at 0 temperature, yeah, Mark, it's a word trick, but I mean, the idea, I guess, is humans. When you ask this to a human being, and then they say, okay, well, I can see that, fine. I was wondering if we can get GPT-3 to kind of do a similar thing to the question. Let's try. I wasn't able to get it to do it, but sometimes you never know. Again, same answer. We'll actually maybe won't do this. Move on to the next one. I mean, even because what ends up happening is, look, let's just try the logical considerations part. It's just going to make logic, like it's going to say it's important to ask whether or not the man's claim is true or not. It's asking some good questions, but life habits, coping mechanisms. But none of this is going to lead it to say Mike's mom has 4 children. 3 are named Amy, Bobby, and Cindy. What is the 4th child's name? Is that a trick question? Mike's mom. Oh, Mike. Yeah. Okay. The 4th one is Mike. Hey, let me copy this. Let's try this one. It's a good one. Mike's mom has 4 children. 3 are named Amy, Bobby, Cindy. What is the 4th one? Let's ask. 0 temperature. Okay, look, the 4th child's name is Mike. It's not specified in the given information. Take a look. Yeah, ChatGPT failed this one. Let's regenerate. Look, text DaVinci, vanilla, without any fancy prompting, gets it right at 0. Half temperature gets it right. And at full temperature. Wow. Yeah, sometimes, okay, but from my personal experience, I ChatGPT seems to be better overall, but sometimes it's not. I don't know why. If you have another one, feel free to put it in. So this one is really silly. A deli worker in a grocery store is described as being 6'1", wears size 10 shoes, and wears a medium-sized shirt. What does the deli worker weigh? It says it weighs deli meat because it's weighing for customers. Yeah, maybe I should have found better questions, maybe. But I mean, at least it says it's not possible to determine deli worker's weight. You could just make a guess. All right, it's 0 temperature. So it didn't figure it out, but let's see. Question. Replace this. So this is our prompt. Let's see what it does. Let's bring the temperature down. There's not enough information. Let's get it to consider logically. Body composition, gender, age, height, ethnicity. So, I mean, I guess this is a good questions are hard, yeah. You know, maybe this is a fun little experiment. And actually it did solve. We did get it to solve 3 of them. 1, 2, 3 of the problems. And the 4th one too, I guess, this cold one. But I mean, if you had a real question at hand, maybe implementing something like this might actually, maybe like when you're writing code, debugging code or something, you could try to do something like this. It might not only find the answer, but on the other hand, it might actually give you some ideas to consider yourself, right? But so far, it doesn't understand that this is a riddle. So things I should consider intuitively: lifestyle, diet, environment. No. Step-by-step thought process. But step-by-step definitely helps. And the thing is that these considerations play into the step-by-step process. So that's why I think it makes it better than just... Because, I mean, I'm sure many of you have heard that asking it to solve problems step by step actually makes it more accurate, especially with math and stuff, like logical processes. But when you ask it to consider certain things, since now it's going to be in its memory as far as the token count, when it's doing the step-by-step process, it will have to take these into consideration. Now, here and there, some of the considerations that it writes will be actually misleading, but most of the time reasonable. Anyway, so I mean, if this was a real question, like gather all the information given about the deli worker, this makes sense, right? Consider logical edge cases like body composition, gender, age, height to weight ratio, ethnicity. Consider the intuitive edge cases that could affect like lifestyle, diet, environment, genetics, medical conditions, based on the information given, the edge case is considered. It's impossible to determine the daily workers' weight. Lastly, self-critical analysis of the thought process. I considered all cases intuitive. It's impossible to. So he thinks it's impossible, and I guess it would be impossible, really. So this was all I had, honestly, for today. If any of you have a question, something like this to ask, I can continue. And this was my first going live on YouTube. So thanks for watching. I'll try to make more of these. Yeah, you can introspect. I mean, it knows. And one time I was trying, I wish I had saved it. It said it corrected itself at this stage. It said, I guess it literally said I was considering too many of the edge cases or something, and it corrected and gave the right answer. Anyway, thank you for watching. By the way, I created a Discord channel for Echo Hive subscribers and whatnot. Let me find it. Oh, I guess maybe I'll put it in the chat if you guys want to join. Let me. Here we go. Yeah, thank you for watching. Please feel free to join the server. There's not many people here, but slowly but surely, right? Feel free to ask any questions or suggest anything for the future. And thanks, Mark, for the question. I'll end the stream now. Thank you for watching, and have a good one, everyone. Take care.